So now I feel like everything should be in. I'm going to mix this and then structure it. So that's what it sounds like right now, right? So I noticed with the kick, right? I put it in mono. I got to do the same thing with the 808. Put that spins in mono. Make sure it's mono. It's on one side. Now with the open hats, kind of leave them on the opposite sides. And then my biggest thing about hats is they have not even rough frequencies, but it's more of a gain control thing. You just want to turn it down. This is your biggest friend on the side. I'm gonna turn this over here off so I don't have to add any more sounds. But this is your biggest friend right here. Your master, whatever your decibels is, it's gonna show up for whatever selected channel. So you gotta make sure you're paying attention to that, because I don't want this open hat to hit above 12. And the reason why I don't want to hit it above 12 is I need headroom. Headroom is an important thing when you're mixing. Like I mentioned earlier, you're making those basses go up, you know what I'm saying, the peaking. So even with the peaking of the bass, you're still leaving headroom, because that soft clipper on the master is providing the headroom for you to be able to do what you're doing. So if you're having everything on the highest level, there will be no headroom because everything's at the same level. That's why you turn things down. You start leveling. You start really, you know what I'm saying, getting the sounds that you need right with the whatever beat that you're making, because leveling is important. You don't want to have everything on the level that FL Studio has it. Not that FL Studio is wrong, but they made it customizable for a reason. So you can turn things down. You can pan it left and right. You can make things mono. You can throw them fully into stereo if you want to. If you want a fully reverb track, you can throw into reverb bus. Things like that. That's why FL Studio is so customizable. And I feel like I got to make that an important thing to say, because a lot of people don't study their DAWs, and studying your DAW is the most important thing you can do as a producer, because you'll go far with it instead of just being a usual regular middle of the day run-of-the-mill producer who does something that could take you, let's just say this, something that could take me 2 hours I can now do in 30 minutes because I know my DAW. I know my keyboard shortcuts. I know how the DAW operates, and I know the you know what I'm saying, like the proper things of what I can do to efficiently use my time. Instead of just, that comes with hours. It comes with hours of repetition and knowledge and knowing what you're doing. So don't be afraid to get into the game and just really like dive in. That's why I'm giving this knowledge out here for you guys to really get started. I was once like you. I once had no real interest in music theory or real like itch to really get better as a producer. But as a pianist, I'm just like, nah, like I know how to compose. I know how to be able to do these things. So I need to be able to apply this knowledge into the beats that I'm making. And that's what makes me a better producer with the music theory that I know. And that's what I'm teaching you guys today. Your master channel is your best friend. That's what I left off at. Your master channel is your best friend. It's kind of knowing where all your notes, or not notes, but all your levels are. You see everything right here in your master channel, all your decibels, where everything's going to hit. So, for example, if I don't even got to solo things, but like if I clicked on the keys, right, you'll see exactly where the keys are hit. I want to be able to turn it up a little bit and actually separate it. So like things like that. That's why I'm talking about. You want to be able to understand where you're at with whatever you're mixing, because it's very important that you're actually getting the levels right. Now, as a producer, the biggest thing, or as an engineer, somebody who has done vocals and mixed and mastered vocals and tracks before, the biggest thing as an engineer is not to solo out the sounds. And that's very true for when you're mixing vocals. But don't get it confused as a producer when you're mixing these sounds. You want to be able to make sure these sounds are hitting the right, part of the ear candy. Things like that are important. So you are allowed to solo sounds. You are allowed to start tweaking things to your liking, and as long as it sounds studio correct, not even like how the studio industry standard, but more of like it sounds tight. It sounds loud. It sounds bright. It's giving whatever that you want to do as the artist. It's putting it out into full format instead of like, oh, well, I give it my best effort. No, like you got to be able to throw you all into this. So one of the biggest things I noticed about the hats is I want this thing thrown. I said it earlier with the pan. It has slight panning, but I'm gonna do actually shout out Durkee again because I don't really gotta think about it too much. I just don't have magic on there, and whatever is missing, right? So I got halftime. Put in halftime, boom. And then it's just something else was missing. So now you hear that it has a little more space and energy in it. Delay isn't doing nothing crazy, but it's giving a little bit of delay. Slight chorus. The panning, left to right. So you hear it giving more emphasis on where it's going with the direction the hat's flowing with whatever rhythm that you have. And then just a little bit of reverb, same thing. Now with this halftime, right? Oh, is it not going to load? It's all good if it's not. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's all good. So this halftime is going to load. Another thing you can use is grow speed. Just for the purpose of this video, I just want to show you like another skill that you can be able to use. Dang, what the heck's going on? I have so many plugins. It's not even funny. Grow speed. Boom. So now we have grow speed open, right? The biggest thing that you do, and you don't got to open any type of sequence or pattern. You just take this, drag it down to where that -2 is. And make sure it's on the line. Click on this, same curve. Now the reason why I don't want to do grow speed is because halftime has a specific frequency filter on their plugin. So I wanted to use that, but for this purpose, I'm going to take out the halftime that I have. Turn the hi-hats down so they're not on 0. The hi-hats you usually want to leave where the open hats are, so somewhere from -9 to 12. It's very slight. It's still a 6, right? So I'm just taking it down a little more. So you see how now it's very, turn this back up. And even, okay, so 9 to 12 is a little too low, so I'll put it back up to like 6. So now it's right there, sitting right with the mix. It's not going too above, it's not peaking, and it's not too behind the mix where you can't hear it. It's right in the middle. It gives it a little more, thickness and like purpose for that snare. Now I feel like everything kind of has a purpose on the mix, except for that lead. It's just kind of like, it's sharp. I don't like how sharp it is. So I'm going to put an EQ in it to change the sound. First thing I'm going to do is take out these low frequencies. And then that kind of gives it a little more purposeful of the sound I want to create with this, because I don't like this area right here. I don't like all that. So I want to go right here. And I want to be able to do something right around right there, right? And then raise the high ends too, because the high ends is what's keeping all that like kind of high stag on the sound, that ding, that high frequency sound. So I'm gonna keep that there. Now it's behind the mix, right? I'll even do a little bit more. Put a reverb on it, and with the reverb, I'll kind of separate just a little bit, not crazy. Turn the decay up just a little bit to let the reverb really get the chamber in, and I'll make that size a little bit smaller, because the size of the room with how it bounces on the walls, you want to make sure that the size is smaller instead of bigger, because reverb room is really based off of the size of the room that you have it, right? So a lot of people, a misconception that a lot of producers that I've worked with started off with is the size. The bigger size is the more thick the reverb. That's not true. The smaller the size, the more thicker the reverb, or the more like withstanding the reverb is. So you want to get the size smaller instead of bigger if you want that more of a reverb chamber feel. So I'll make the size smaller and turn the wet just a little bit up, and I'll solo it. That's a little too wet. There it goes. And what I just did is swap left and right channels. It's kind of a subtle thing on FL Studio. Swap channels. So now we'll get to the final part, is structuring. So remember that thing I said I wanted to show you guys how to do it properly earlier? I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So I have this whole thing in this pattern right here. Instead of making a new pattern for just the drums, I had everything out. And the reason why I say that's so important is because when you're building things, you want to be able to structure things in the right way to have your brain flowing in the right direction. And so when you're having all these sounds at one time and you're muting, like let's say I'm on the sequencer, right? And I just have these instead of all of my bass and everything like that, but it's all in that pattern. So now I right click the same thing I did earlier, and I'll split it by the channel. I'll delete it all, and then I'll drag everything. So I can hold control, and then left click drag, hover over it, and then that's where you kind of drag everything down. Boom. Take that flex bass off, and then now we have everything into the sequence that we possibly need, right? Now, I'll take this Command B it, structure it out to where it's going to be like, usually I make my beats around 1:45 to 2:15 now. So 3 minutes and 9 is too long. So like right around here is the sweet spot. So I'm going to take all of this off, right? And now I'll structure it by bar so I don't have to like, no confusion. I'll take all of this off. So that's where I'll start the structure of this beat, right? And then I'll kind of go with, what's the kick at? Because I don't want that. Yeah, you guys do. So, this is exactly like how I kind of structure my things. I'm going a little bit ahead, but this is a little bit what I wanted to show you because this is important. So I want to go right into the beat. You really want to kind of stack sounds up right on the beat. You don't want to have things build up like how a cinematic approach is, because this is a beat that you're trying to give to an artist. Structure this the right way, so it's hitting the right way. Hold on, I'm in the middle of shooting a YouTube video. Like, give me like, I'm literally wrapping it up. Give me like 10 to 15 minutes, all right? Here is kind of where I would add a different part of the section. So now I'll go with just the bass. I'm sorry, not just the bass, just the 808. Now, I know it's kind of confusing because that's why I wanted to structure things beforehand, because when you have everything into the bass channel, when I named it, now everything's under bass instead of, oh, this is drums or whatever it is. You know, how you want to structure it. So now you have to look at this and be like, oh, and then go to the next thing and be like, okay, well, this is a snare, this is a spin. So that's the difficult part about real FL Studio. You gotta really learn how to structure things beforehand, preemptively. And that, my friends, is a wrap on the Music Theory for Producers series. 4 things: chords, melody, bass, and drums. If this series helped you actually understand music theory in a way that's usable, leave a like, drop a comment on what actually helped you, and if you need more help, schedule a one-on-one with me. DM me, reach out, or email. And please subscribe, because I got a full mixing and arrangement series coming soon. Now you've learned the theory, and I've also talked about a little bit of how to make it sound professional. That's really what we're going to cover next. So stay tuned and subscribe. Stay nomadic.